Welcome to Into the Filmverse, a movie fan podcast where we talk about movies. I'm Mytchel Chandler.
And I'm Bryce Payne.
And today, on Season 4, Episode 3 of Into the Filmverse, we are going to be talking about Kubo and the Two Strings and our most anticipated films of 2023. We might as well jump right into it here, Bryce, and talk about Kubo and the Two Strings. Before we started this podcast, you said that you didn't like it as much as I did. And I wanted to jump in here and just get your thoughts on what you think of the film.
So, to preface this, I have seen this before.
Okay.
I don't remember why I watched it, but I watched it for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, it's all right. And then, like, you decided you wanted to watch it for our animation month. And then you watched it before me, and you texted me and was like, holy crap, that is amazing. This is fire. That 4K release is going to be amazing. And I was just like, okay. So I rewatched it. I enjoyed it more this time. I think the claymation, especially those big boss battles, works really well. I think Kubo as a character is okay. And the twist is fairly obvious.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
But I mean, for a 90-minute claymation film, it has some really good scenes. It's really well done, and it hits almost everything but the emotional strides for me.
Okay, see, I was going to say probably the exact opposite of that. The claymation, not the exact opposite, actually majority of the same thing. But I'll say that normally claymation doesn't work for me. From James and the Giant Peach, one of my most hated movies ever, to... what's the most recent one we watched?
Pinocchio. Yeah,
Pinocchio, Guillermo Tutorials. I just didn't really get into that one that much.
It's a shame. It's a good film.
Well, to most people. But I did, usually I just don't enjoy claymation. Oh, Coraline, even to a certain extent, I don't really like Nightmare Before Christmas. I know, Pillory Me. But
we're going to get stoned now.
I know, that's what I said. That's just go ahead, bring it on. But that being said, this is the first claymation film that I've loved. I think, and I didn't really get to see it on a high quality screen. I just saw it on HD on whatever free way I could watch it on Pluto TV. And yeah, I just know that with extra visuals, this could be look amazing. I loved the paper animation that he did with his little banjo or his 2-string guitar. It was super cute, and then just a lot of the vibrant colors in this film really would pop with a better 4K restoration.
I will say that I was impressed that everything really starts moving in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
In 15 minutes, everything starts going off, and I was just like, okay, all right, let's go. And then he meets Beetle in the 30-minute mark, and I was like, wow, you have the whole gang together already.
I was surprised that at the beginning of this film, it starts with the mom just getting her head smashed against a rock in the sea, and then just crawling to her infant on the ground, and I was just like, what the hell is going on in this film?
I was kind of confused though. So it's as I've said, I've seen this before. Mm-hmm. I saw it a couple of years ago, so a lot of things have been out of my mind by now. Mm-hmm. And so I was watching it, and I was just kept being like, well, when is this gonna happen? I was like, oh, there's the answer to that question. And I was like, I feel like this should have it. Oh, yep, there it is. And then for instance, the mom, I was sitting there, I was like, I could swear she has a bigger role. I don't think she just sits there and stares off. Oh, okay, it's nighttime. She's talking now. Okay, more going. Plots, yes, more. I will say that I think Cuba was kind of the point. Okay, so spoilers, Cuba's been out for 6 years, 7 years?
Yeah, I feel like we should be good.
So there's a point where he gets the paper mache lamp, right? And he's trying to talk to his dad because he thinks his dad's dead.
Right.
And so I just got out there and I was like, but isn't his dad the Beetle?
Well, as soon as that happened, I'm just and it didn't light up. I'm like, oh, so his dad's not dead. That's my first thought, because I'm just oh, his dad's not dead. And then as soon as the Beetle was I don't know who I am, I'm like, oh, it's his dad.
Yeah, dude, immediately, I saw him and I was like, I remember he's his dad. And I was like, it's so painfully obvious that that's his dad because you haven't been introduced to anybody else. Especially
when they revealed that the monkey was his mom. I didn't see that coming, to be honest with you. I just didn't see that she knew that she was his mom too. I just did not see that coming. So when that came, I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool, interesting twist. And then I looked at the Beetle. I'm like, yeah, for sure, that's his dad.
No way it's not. And as the story goes on and they start working together, do you see them flirt?
Yeah,
I was like, it's so obvious.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that I was thinking too is that the fight scenes in this are really cool.
They're so well done. I think the most notable one obviously is going to be the skeleton with the swords in his head. I think that really stood out to me, at least, as the best battle. but it kind of felt like a video game, right? Where like you go from one section and you end it with a boss battle, and then you go to the next one and end it with a boss battle, and the next one you end it with a boss. And I was like, this is flowing so well as like a video game.
Yeah, no, you're right. I like that progression of it. I think my favorite one was the one on the boat.
Which
monkey.
one? The monkey fighting the sister?
Yeah.
I didn't even count that as a boss battle.
Not necessarily a boss battle. I just love that fight. Like it was just really
so
cool. I wasn't expecting the monkey to be that good. So
she was just like, let's go.
Yeah, and then I was just like, dang, she just slaughtered that chick. What the heck?
I did like the faces, like the mask the sisters are wearing. I was like, I feel like that's not her face because it's not getting a lot of motion. They used to like it cracked. I was like, that's cool. I like that.
I liked the ending too. How they wrapped it up with the Kubo like giving his grandfather life and he doesn't know who he is.
I like that too. I wish that like so there's an issue I have with that though, is at the end of the movie, Kubo is sitting there and he's talking and he like goes to do the spiritual thing with the lamp and I was like, what happened to his grandpa? He just like becomes mortal or like he just disappears. Like they don't show him with Kubo or like them being a family. It's just like the grandfather gets rescued and then he disappears.
I thought it was almost like, in a sense, that he just made him mortal was the only thing. Like, and he just has to deal with being immortal.
That's kind of harsh. I think
I know.
I don't know. In my mind, I guess I was like expecting him to be like standing at Kubo's side.
I'm kind of glad that I was glad that he wasn't, just because I wouldn't like. I don't necessarily want that character to have a happy ending. I think it's an interesting choice for him to be immortal and not know who he is, and then for the community to be like, "Oh no, you're a good person," and for him to have to live up to that mantle of being a good person.
So, speaking of the grandfather, when he becomes mortal and he has that human eye, is that Kubo's eye?
Oh, it has to be.
Like, that would make sense, right? But then that means there's a part of
Yeah.
Kubo in him.
Yeah, no, 100% because he stole his eye. I would definitely think that.
I wasn't entirely certain. I was like, I feel like that has to be Kubo's eye. Otherwise, what significance would it have for him to only have one eye?
Yeah, I think that was Kubo's eye. I think because they were even the same color, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I was also just like, it's claymation, so you know it is what it is.
Well, another thing that I really appreciated about this film was how they dealt with, like, I wouldn't say, well, not even mental illness, but just like a kid dealing with his mother that has severe mental issues, and with her brain injuries. And I thought that was really,
he's like helping her and like taking care of his mom.
He like really had to grow up by himself. Even though there are moments that his mom is coherent, other times that there's a lot of times she's not.
So I mentioned in my review on Letterboxd about how this film is teaches a great lesson on legacy and remembering your family members, because you see Kubo, especially in the final battle, as he uses the hair of his mother and the bowstring of his father to defeat his grandfather as like a way of like their legacy towards him and what they taught him. And I was like, that's so powerful.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved them using those the two strings was ended up being.
And then he pulled his hair and he like united them as like this weapon of love. Love. I don't know. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a great way to like kind of sign off the film. And then with the final shot, if I remember, is like him with the lake with his mom and his dad at his side as he like pushes the lamp. And I was like, that's a sweet ending.
Although let's think about this real quick. They said that the entire reason that they were going to get all those things was because that's the only way to defeat.
And then it didn't matter.
And it never mattered. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's more like, the only way to defeat it was love.
Well, 100%. Yeah, that was what they were trying to go for. Which it was really, and I thought it more of a so it's just like realizing that it's not, the power is within your memories and you versus, actual items of power.
I respect that.
I think this is a really good balance with Coco. I think you could have like a really cool.
I think I like Coco more. I think I said that in my first review, was like how the powerful family legacy and respect and all that lends itself better to Coco.
Yeah, I mean, because the whole culture is based off of not the whole. It's not based off of that specific thing, but I'm just saying like the Day of the Dead, that's a huge important part of that culture. So to bring that to life in like an animated way, that's super cool. I just think that these two play off each other well, and I think that like it'd be a cool crossover that could happen. I mean, never, probably not, but I'm just like in my head that'd be cool.
Do you know who directed Kubo? I just found this out looking at my Letterboxd.
I don't.
It's the guy who directed Bumblebee.
Travis Knight.
Travis Knight. I'm so proud that you knew that off the top of your head, because I wouldn't have a single clue who the fuck that was. Language. I'm sorry. We're working on it.
No, I just know. Well, yeah, Bumblebee. It was just so good that I just remember.
I would not remember one director's name off of one movie. So the fact you just pulled that out of your out of the air is just very impressive to me. I was just like looking, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he directed anything similar. And then I was like, oh, Bumblebee. I have not seen Bumblebee, for those that don't know.
You haven't seen Bumblebee? I keep forgetting you haven't seen Bumblebee.
I don't like Transformers.
Okay, like, do you don't like Transformers the movies, or you don't like Transformers as a concept?
I love the concept. I think that visual noise is too much for me.
Okay, well, that's fair. Okay, so Bumblebee is definitely a stark difference from the rest of the Transformers films, and the fact that it actually deals with character and well, I mean, we're not here to talk about Bumblebee, but I'm saying go watch Bumblebee. We'll get to that, because that's a good film.
I'm going to rewatch all of them before what's his name comes out. I
can remember
the new one.
Yeah, the one with Gorilla.
the Gorilla Transformers movie. I'm gonna rewatch them all. If I fall asleep in Revenge of the Fallen again, I'm not even gonna finish them.
All I know is the first Transformer is really great, and then
I don't even like the first one that much.
You don't?
No.
Have you seen the original animated movie?
I know.
That one's pretty good too. I like that a lot.
But we'll get there when we do our Transformers review, and I can go through and get to that point, because I will be watching Bumblebee for that rewatch.
Okay, cool.
So we'll get there.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think that that's super cool. I didn't know that he was the one that directed this.
No, I was like, that's kind of neat. Good for them. But no, so what was your rating for Kubo and the Two Strings?
I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Not bad. I did not give it 4 stars. I gave it a solid 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so similar. I just think I really vibed with the animation. I was impressed that I actually liked the claymation, and that, you know what it is? I think a lot of the other claymation relies too heavily on horror, and I don't know if it mixes well for me.
I think it's because they can do cool like monsters and stuff out of claymation. Where you get things like this one's the newest one, Wendell and Wild, where you have like the neat little demons and stuff made in claymation. They just do a really well job like making those in claymation.
Yeah, even James and the Giant Peach was like, I mean, well, that's a different thing, but I feel like that one was horror.
Horror elements.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
It. But my rating did not change between this watch and the first watch.
No, that's fair. I definitely ended up enjoying this a little bit more than I thought I would.
Well, that's good.
All right, guys. Well, what did you think of Kubo? Or have you seen Kubo and the Two Strings? Are you gonna watch it based on us talking about it? I just want to hear what you guys have to think about this movie. Let us know, wherever you're watching, listening. We'd love to have a conversation with you. Now,
and next week you can listen to our thoughts on my pick for it, my last pick for animation, Fantastic Planet from 1973.
That'll be a fun conversation.
It's a hand-drawn animated film, so it's different. It's different.
It is, yeah. It's a little weird, but we'll definitely love to talk about that. Now, what I do want to talk about is looking forward into the rest of 2023. There are a lot of films to come out still, and I'm super excited for a lot of them.
There's so much coming out this year.
I know. Based on like the past few years, we're definitely going to be spoiled for sure.
I heard somebody saying that this is probably going to be like the best year of cinema since 2019.
Yeah, 100%. Because
2019 was fantastic.
It was really good. It was Spider-Verse and Endgame.
Spider-Verse was 2018. 2019 had like 1917, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, Joker.
Okay. Yeah.
Like 2019 was a solid year, and then COVID hit and screwed everything up for 3 years.
I don't cry. And I think this is the year that all of those COVID films that were delayed and pushed back and whatnot are now back into the fray and are ready to be released, because up until now, theaters haven't been back in full swing. People haven't been going back as much.
And you've been getting a lot of those delayed COVID films where they were made during COVID, but they kept getting postponed, and we finally got those out last year, like Top Gun and little things like that started coming out, trickling into the world.
And it's whether or not you look at it, or the studios really postponed it because they might not have gotten their full money back from, they need the most amount of people to come to the theater, to return to the theater, to get their return on their film, or it's not like the special effects weren't done, or, actors had to do different things because of COVID, or the restrictions delayed the film. There's a bunch of different reasons, but a lot of those films are finally back in theaters.
And now we're finally getting to where they made them last year, and they're coming out this year.
Exactly.
Hey.
Exactly. I'm super excited. So we want to take a moment and talk about our top 10 most anticipated films of 2023. Bryce, I will let you go ahead and start off here and take us through what your top films.
Okay, no, we did 10, right?
Top 10, exactly.
Okay, so it is so hard to find only 10 movies that you're anticipating for 2023. There are so many.
I know. I agree.
And there is a bop every month. Every single month has a great movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start off with my 10th one, which is one that I just found out about recently.
Okay.
But it's directed by Ridley Scott. And it seems like a return to form for him from like Gladiator times. And he is directing Napoleon, which is a Napoleon biopic with Joaquin Phoenix starring as Napoleon Bonaparte.
I mean, he's like Napoleon Dynamite? No, just kidding.
No. And not much is known. Obviously, we don't have a trailer. We don't have the thing. But a timepiece film directed by Ridley Scott with Joaquin Phoenix.
You know, Joaquin is a brilliant actor. So anytime he's anything, I'm interested in. And then Ridley Scott, you know, some hit and misses, I think, just for me personally. But you can't deny that they're a great filmmaker.
And he's worked with Joaquin before with like Gladiator.
Right.
And this isn't the only piece he's working on. I really think Ridley Scott got really mad with how Last Duel performed. And so he was like, you guys want the old me? I'll give you the old me. So he's also got like Gladiator 2 in the works, and then Napoleon's coming out this year. And so it feels like he's returning to his form.
Okay, so yeah, I thought they were doing Gladiator 2. So yeah, Napoleon, yeah, I'll be interested in seeing that one.
So once again, not much is known, but it has some good points to it. And it was just like, it snuck into my 10th place. I was like, okay, I'm excited for that. And then number 9 is one of my favorite directors, Wes Anderson, returning to screens with Asteroid City.
All right.
And if you know anything about Wes Anderson, his cast is always phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He somehow gets like the biggest people, and this film has like Margot Robbie, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Scarlett Johansson, Liev Schreiber, Tilda Swinton, Jeff Goldblum, Bryan Cranston. Like there are some people here returning, like Willem Dafoe.
I was waiting for Willem Dafoe, yeah.
But the cast list is stacked. It's completely stacked. Steve Carell, Adrian Brody. Like there's just every name is just more people, and there's a lot of people that haven't worked with Wes Anderson getting put into this film.
Anytime you hear of stacked cast, that film immediately shoots to the top of my list, because you're like, with so many talented actors, what can they do with that? That's so cool.
And then this just sounds like a very interesting film. So it's set during 1955 at a junior stargazer space cadet convention, which is disrupted by world-changing events.
Ooh.
It just sounds interesting, and I love Wes Anderson. Even his films that aren't that great to me, which French Dispatch for me was not a huge hit, but I love him so much that I just can't wait to see this visual marvel.
I love your enthusiasm for Wes Anderson films, and just Wes Anderson in general. Like anytime you're like Wes Anderson, I'm just like, yes, you go.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Once again, not much is known though. Like that's it. We got the blurb, and we know it's coming out. And now we get into stuff where there's more stuff actually known. Number 8, Scream 6.
Mm-hmm.
Or Scream 5? Scream 6. Scream 6.
Scream 6.
I'm looking at my list. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out. But Scream 6, I love Ghostface. I think the trailers for this has already looked really good. I'm interested in a new location that's not, it's a place we've been a million times. And then there's a lot of clips and like little pictures being released where I'm just like, yes, I'm so excited for this iteration.
I love the Scream franchise, and the trailers and the posters that they put out for Scream 6 have just been, love it.
They got that one still that got put on Twitter where it's like him with a shotgun in a convenience store. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a bop.
Yeah, 100%. I love that it's set in New York. Just the thrill of having Scream, and especially, didn't it look like it was at Halloween too, or something like that?
I think so. I think it's set during Halloween.
I love that.
But I love just like things where they have a killer, where it's set in a time where killers could be anywhere. Mm-hmm. It just makes it so much more fun to watch for me. I think first thing comes to my mind is like Trick or Treat or some stuff where it's just Halloween. Anyone could be it. Anyone could be a killer.
Now, is this supposed to be like just an all new cast, or is there anybody returning from?
Jenna Ortega's returning. A lot of other people, like the survivors from Scream 5, are coming back for Scream 6.
Why does that sound familiar? Is that Wednesday?
Yeah.
I love Wednesday.
And she was the final girl in Scream 5.
I need to rewatch that because that makes me happy. I love Jenna Ortega.
She's really blew up in the last year. Things with like X and things like that. She's just blown up.
She's an X?
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that too now.
That nerdy girl in X.
Okay, well, I really don't remember much from X besides I'm a CX symbol, but...
No, but yeah, so Jenna Ortega is like the new Scream lead. So
that is very exciting.
And then going on to another horror film that I am a huge fan of, we get Saw 10 this year.
Yes.
And I'll say this, I know Saw is a hit or miss for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like the torture porn aspect of it. I watched Spiral 3 times in theaters.
I remember you did that.
I love Saw. It is my guilty pleasure films. They could be terrible, they could be crap, but every single time there's a Saw film, you know I'm going to be going to it. You know I'm going to love it. It could be terrible. I don't care. It's Saw. I don't expect much. I expect people to get brutally murdered. Like, that's all I want.
Okay, I love Saw, like the concept of it. I love the first film, and I think the second one is pretty good too. But
the second one's considered by a lot to be better than the first.
Okay, yeah.
It's after the second one where things start going downhill for a lot of people.
Exactly.
I loved every single one.
I think the issue with it is that like kind of what your issue with Transformer is. I feel like a lot of it is just like visual noise or just like, you know, gore for the sake of gore and traps for the sake of traps versus having reason behind it.
Do you want to know how I watch them?
Hmm.
I go through it and I'm like, would I survive this?
Would I survive
and
this?
like, I'll watch it to a point and I'll be like, oh yeah, I could get through that. Oh yeah, I could get through that. And then it gets to a point where I'm like, nope, that's it. That's where I'd be dead.
I'm dead.
The one that comes to my mind, I think it's Saw 5. There's there's a sewer, and they're also like the whole thing is they're all supposed to be working together, and if they work together, they could get through all the traps unharmed with only like a limited amount of like damage to them. And I was like, I can make it through this until the last trap because there's like a saw blade and you got to put your hand through it and like you have to drain your blood. And I was like, that'd be it. I would not survive to that point. Like there's no way. But I just like testing my thoughts and being like, I could do that.
And then also with the revamp with Spiral and Chris Rock, I think that film was good. It just kind of missed the mark on a few things.
It was Chris Rock. Chris Rock missed the mark.
Chris Rock missed the mark.
He is a I can't remember. There's like there's a scene where he like starts yelling at his police captain in it, and like it is the corniest like line delivery I've ever heard in a film. And he's just like, just let me do my job. And it's like, shut up, Chris. Like, stop.
Shut up, Melman.
However, they did get Samuel L. Jackson for that movie, so
Sam
I give
Jackson
them
was
props.
cool.
Especially because they asked him in an interview like, why'd you do it? He was like, I don't know. I've never been hung up and from a trap before, so I just said, yeah, that sounds fun. I respect that.
Awesome.
Anyway, moving on from my guilty pleasure films. Next one is a pretty big movie coming out that was supposed to come out this year. We have Martin Scorsese's return, Killers of the Flower Moon.
I've heard about this. I just forgot what it's about.
It's based on a book set in 1920s Oklahoma and depicts the serial murder of members of the oil-wealthy Osage Nation. But that's not why we watched Martin Scorsese. We watched Scorsese because he is a fantastic director.
Ooh.
And with people like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jesse Plemons, Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser's in this movie. Yeah, no, this movie's going to be great. Especially because Martin Scorsese is just one of those directors that when you hear his name...
He's the one that put The Irishman?
He's the one that did The Irishman, yes. He also did Wolf of Wall Street.
See, I never watched The Irishman. I love The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, no. You know what? It's funny. He's like such an acclaimed director. Taxi Driver, Shutter Island, Goodfellas. Mm-hmm. I grew up thinking he did The Godfather.
Yeah, it's because I know why.
Gangster films. It's that feeling. So I always thought that he was the one who did it and not Francis Ford Coppola.
I just always mix them up. Yeah,
it's destroyed me. Like he is so well known for his gangster films that I just assume that he made the biggest gangster films.
No,
but he's definitely a director that every time a movie of his comes out, I'm just like, I'm there.
He's the one director that like can talk shit about Marvel films, and I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, he's like, Marvel films suck. I'm like, you know what? I respect you enough to take your opinion.
I know.
Like, you're fine. Like, you know what you're talking about. Screw it.
Like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have your opinion. You good. You good.
I know that we have a friend that's reading the book Killers of the Flower Moon before this comes out, and I just want, I kind of low-key want to read it just so I can be like, I'm going to read the book. Mm-hmm. But I'm also lazy, so I'm not going to probably do it. I had to force myself. And then let's move into my number 5 pick. This is on your list, too. I already know it. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah. What are the odds that Scorsese would be right before a Marvel film?
Right.
Take that, Scorsese, Marvel.
Spidey, that's what I'm talking about.
No, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse looks fantastic. I'm so interested in what it's about, especially with that teaser trailer we got where he's like running away from all the spider people. Sold. I'm currently actually playing the Spider-Man game again because I just like it's Spider-Man. Like, how can you not love Spider-Man?
Exactly.
Scorsese. No, and Miles is just a great character. The only thing I hope they keep the emotional, like, the way that Into the Spider-Verse hit me emotionally. I need this film to keep that. I need it to follow up, not be better. I just need to keep that quality.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I hope it stays with that heart and emotion that the first one set up.
It's a very high bar, but I feel like they can do it, especially with Peter B. Parker coming back, Gwen Stacy coming back. Miles carries the first film. His whole journey is like such an important part.
Yeah,
that I'm just interested to see him interact with more spider people.
Me too.
And like the world is bigger than he's ever imagined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm super excited to see how that plays out.
And moving on to number 4, this trailer just came out in the beginning of January, and that is Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, okay. So I know we just saw this trailer, and it is absolutely bonkers.
It looks fantastic. And this was okay for preference. This was already on my list. Okay,
it was
trailer was not out when this was on my list. I love Evil Dead. I love all of them. I haven't seen the show yet. I haven't seen Ash vs. the Evil Dead yet. I need to, but I love the movies. So, and I heard like Evil Dead Rise coming to HBO Max. I was like, bet I'm there. But now it's coming theatrical, and I'm like, even better because that means you have faith in it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, we could go into the details of how. I mean, we could. We don't necessarily need to, but how that came about. When Warner Brothers took over, was taken over by was it who
Discovery?
Yeah, Discovery. That's the word. David Zaslav, the president of Universal, our CEO. He basically saw this film, Evil Dead Rises, and Blue Beetle, and was like, no, those are not going to be HBO Max only. Those are going theatrical runs.
And it's such a smart move because Evil Dead has such a loyal fan base, and this trailer looked fantastic.
Yes, it did.
It looks scary, has the creepy stuff. I'm excited to see the Mother Deadite, and I'm just...
This is one of those times that I'm like, if you just gave me what you showed me in the trailer, I'd kind of be okay with it.
It doesn't even need to do much to be a good Evil Dead movie. You just need like creepy, like practical effects, some creepy characters, and like the environment they're at, that apartment building fits so well.
There was a scene where the mom was cheese grating another person's leg. And I was like,
I love it.
Freaking out.
I love it. And here's the best part: is like, I've seen all the Evil Dead movies. I'm gonna rewatch them, and I'm gonna love them. I don't even care if this doesn't even have anything to do with the other films. I'm going to rewatch all of them before this comes out, just because I love Evil Dead. You
gonna go buy a Necronomicon?
I have one.
Oh.
I have that replica. You've seen it?
Oh yeah, yes I have.
I also have an Ashy Slashy puppet, which I haven't seen the show,
so
I don't know what that's about, but it's cute and I love it.
It's cute.
All right, moving on to number 3, and this one actually surprised me because I wasn't excited about this before last year.
Okay.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
All right, what changed your mind?
I watched all the Mission Impossible movies back to back.
Oh, okay, that is fair. I think I started Ghost Protocol. I don't think I've seen the first other films.
The first 2 are okay. I liked the first 2 enough. They're basic action films for me, kind of reminiscent of like Ocean 11 type things, where there's just like big plot, big action scenes, and all that. But what really sold me on the series was Mission Impossible 3, because Philip Seymour Hoffman is terrifying. Mm-hmm. Absolutely terrifying as the villain. And I was like, okay, all right. And then we get into the 4th one, which I cannot remember the name of. I think that's
Ghost Protocol. Yeah.
And I was like, that's when things started going like 100%.
Yeah.
And then I watched, I've seen Fallout before. I think you maybe watched Fallout.
Yeah.
But I watched Rogue Nation, and I was like, I love this series. I don't even like Tom Cruise that much, and I love this series.
I think after Top Gun Maverick, this one really showed me that he's kind of just really going all in on his films.
He's crazy. He's a crazy man, and I'm like, I don't like him that much, but like, yeah, you keep doing what you need to do, Tom Cruise. Like, you're starting to sell me. You're starting to pull me over, and it's impressive.
Simon Pegg coming back for this one.
He has to. If they don't get the core cast, it's not a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, I love Simon Pegg, so anytime, especially like when in these films, so I can't wait to see what
we can check the cast list. Simon Pegg is back.
Yes.
Gene Brahms is back. Like there is people that if you don't have them in the Mission Impossible movie, it's not a Mission Impossible movie. Their core characters are such a necessity for that film.
The last one was the one with Henry Cavill, right?
Yes.
Fallout. Yeah. See that one kind of fell flat for me a little bit.
It's definitely not the high point of the franchise, but it's still a good movie.
Yeah, it's still good.
I'll say I'm weird. Mission Impossible 3 is my favorite, just for Philip Seymour Hoffman. It opens up with Philip Seymour Hoffman, like threatening Tom Cruise character. Like that's the opening scene.
Ooh.
And I was like, I'm sold. This is already so much different, and I love it. I'd watch it again. I'd watch it again without watching any of the other ones. I don't care. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. It.
You know, this series reminds me of like they're like Tom Hanks. You can't. Or Tom Hanks. What's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. You can't be James Bond. He's just like, watch me.
It's so good. And then like just with the fact that says Dead Reckoning Part 1, I'm like, this is Mission Impossible's Infinity War. I don't care because you know it's gonna end on a sad note, and I'm so ready because I'm gonna be hyped for Part 2. Yeah. Something's gonna happen in the Part 1 where I'm just gonna be like, no, don't end, and it's gonna end, and I'm gonna wait 2 years, and then Part 2 is gonna be huge.
I think they filmed it back to back, so it should be coming out the next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped.
But I do like. I think that is kind of cool. I like the Part 1, Part 2s because I just know that I'm gonna get another one, so it makes me happy like watching this film.
And then we're moving on to one that we also got a teaser trailer for.
Yeah.
Creed 3.
Yes, I love Creed.
So here's another preference. I didn't see Creed till last year.
Oh wow, another.
So I finished the Rocky franchise, jumped into Creed, and I was like, I kind of like Creed better than Rocky. Mm-hmm. Not Creed 2, Creed. Creed 2 is okay, but it felt like it lived too much into Rocky's life. Like he wasn't able to become his own character.
Right.
He was still very much in Rocky's shadow. Both Creed 3 and just that teaser trailer with I know his name and I'm just not.
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh,
Jonathan Majors.
I keep forgetting him, but with Majors coming as the villain, and like he's such a great actor, fantastic actor. I have so much hope for this because it's like Creed is no longer in Rocky's shadow, and he's going to have to fight this man on his own.
Yeah, that this trailer definitely pushed it up into my into my viewpoint as well because I was just like, this movie looks crazy.
It looks so good. And I'm a sucker for boxing films. I don't really like sports, but boxing films, I'm just like, yeah, beat him up.
Exactly.
And, you know Michael B. Jordan because he's directing it too, right?
That's also what I'm excited too.
It's going to be interesting to watch. And then we get my number one, most anticipated film of the year. It's going to be surprising for a lot of people who know me. John Wick Chapter 4.
Huh.
I'm
honestly surprised that there was
I love John Wick.
Yeah, no, John Wick is definitely, like, obviously came out of the blue just with, like, Dead Dog and then Ultimate Revenge Story and then just relaunched Keanu Reeves' entire career.
Do you want to take a guess at how many times I've watched the trilogy?
12. I don't know.
No, I've seen the trilogy 3 times.
Oh, okay.
And each time I'll have just as much fun the first time.
Action is the best ever.
They're endlessly rewatchable. And Keanu Reeves is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched them all. I watched the first 3 by myself first time. Second time, my dad, I was like, you need to watch these. And then we watched the first one. He was like, I need to watch the other 2. I was like, yes, you do. Mm-hmm. And the third time, Jada was like, well, I want to watch John Wick. And I was like, bet, I'll watch John Wick. And so we watched them in 3 again. And I was just like, I love this series so much. Like, it is so good. And then Chapter 4 is going to be so good. And then it has Alexander Skarsgård.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his name. It has to be. I think it's Alexander. There's so many Skarsgårds in the world. Bill Skarsgård. Alexander Skarsgård is his dad.
Yeah.
But Bill Skarsgård is like the villain who's working with the table. Sold. I don't care. I'm so excited. And then the fact that it's going to delve more into his backstory, like John Wick's like life as an assassin. Stoked. And I love how all the movies just like, it's like literally like a bad month in his life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's all together.
I love it. I love it so much. So I'm so excited. Lionsgate's usually hit or miss, but this is the one franchise where they have so much faith in. They're like, we're doing 4.
I know. Yeah, no.
And they've confirmed like 2 more and a spinoff.
Yes. I love John Wick so much.
It's so good. And as long as they keep the action as on peak.
Only reason it's so well. Like, that's the only reason it did so well is because they're pioneering how action films should be shot. Not necessarily that they need to be shot exactly like John Wick, but just the fact that like your jump cuts and your shaky cam are just gone exactly like nobody. Right?
Because they have the same kind of action where it was real. It feels genuine. It's not somebody shooting like 50 bullets out of a handgun. It's runs out of bullets, throws the gun.
Exactly.
It's little things like that just push this into peak cinema for me.
100%.
Anyway, that's my top 10. A lot of weird choices from Bryce there that would not be suspected. You will notice a lack of Marvel films. Not that I don't like Marvel. It just felt like the easy way out for me. And I know Mytchel enough to know those are on his list.
Actually, looking at my list, there's only one of them.
Really?
Yeah. So
I will say I'm kind of surprised.
I'm surprised that Indiana Jones wasn't on your list because
I love Indiana Jones, but
because I fully expected that to be on your list. I know you're a huge. I mean, I remember us talking about it.
It was on my list at one point.
Well, we'll have to jump into here because, and you saying that Marvel films, I'm not on my list. Actually, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was on my list. It was number 10 until when the trailer came out. And
They
as
pushed
soon
it
as
down?
as soon as I saw the trailer, I was just like, I'm not as interested anymore.
That made me more excited just with Jonathan Majors in it.
I do like Jonathan Majors, but I kind of already knew he was gonna be in it, so I wasn't really.
Well, I know.
I don't know. The trailer made it look like, I don't know. It just didn't feel special to me. Like, it didn't feel like Marvel. Like Marvel, it just felt too like.
It didn't feel like an event film. It felt more like.
No, it does. That's the issue. Like, it doesn't. I don't know. Like, after seeing Batman and I don't even know, like Spider-Man: No Way Home to a certain extent, that's all about Spider-Man for the most part. I feel like, versus Ant-Man, it just feels very like
simple.
galactic and.
I'm so confused why you don't like it, because everything you're saying is like a point for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of it all being like, I don't know. I'll have to see it. It just looks too CGI for me. It didn't really, nothing felt real in it.
Interesting.
So it bumps it down a little bit. I'm still majorly excited for it, obviously, because it's Marvel. But that being said,
it just didn't crack the top 10 for you.
Because that went down, what moved up for me was Wonka.
This was on
Timothy
my list.
Chalamet.
This was on my list for like all of last year. Not gonna lie, like I was so stoked, but something about Ridley Scott's Napoleon kind of pushed it off the list for me.
Okay, the reason I have it up here is 'cause I just love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, both renditions of it. I watched that a lot as a kid, and I love those films. And then Timothy Chalamet just has been slowly becoming one of my favorite actors to see any project he's in.
I told you 2 years ago. I was like, yo, you better watch out for Timothy Chalamet.
I didn't believe you then.
So good.
I was just like, nah, whatever.
Well, everyone was like, you're just a fanboy of him. I was like, no, he's that good.
He really is that good. Like, he's so fun to watch. Like, anything he's in, I just have always appreciated his performance. So, and then just to know what he's gonna bring to this, I'm just super excited to see him play the Wonka character.
It's going to be it's the prequel, right? Like where they're Is this it's a prequel to Gene Wilder's version, if I am correct, or is it not attached to anything?
I'm not 100% sure. I just know that it's just about a young Willy Wonka. That's really all.
Are we gonna see him? I really hope we see him in Slave Oompa Loompas. It's a hot take, but like I need to know how he got them.
I know. That would be very interesting. I don't know if I'll go into that, but we'll see.
You've seen like the comedy bits where people are making fun of Willy Wonka, and he's basically like a slave driver for Oompa Loompas. So I'm just like, I just need to know how.
Right, that would be interesting. Yeah, because I mean, he didn't really explain it in the other films. They kind of like touched on it a little bit, but yeah, no. So mostly because of Timothy Chalamet is why I'm excited for that film. If it wasn't him, it wouldn't really.
Bones and All really pushed it up for you.
It did a little bit.
You're like, damn, I really like this guy.
Yeah, it was a little bit. You're right. Now on top of that, coming in at number 9, I have a DC film, Shazam. What is it called? Fury of the Gods? Yeah, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I know, Bryce, you weren't a huge fan of the first Shazam film.
I was so disappointed
because I felt the exact opposite. I love this Shazam character, Billy Batson as him, and then just whenever they shout Shazam, and they all become Shazams, I'm just like, yes.
I will say that the actor who plays Billy Batson, Ash, whatever his name is, I can't remember. It's like it's something to do with Asher.
Asher Angel.
Asher Angel. I got his first name. Go me.
Look at you.
I loved his performance as Billy Batson. My issue was Zachary Levi. I just didn't believe him as a kid in a Superman, like a superhero body. He felt very forced as like a child wonder type thing. And I was just like, I don't believe you, and I don't like you, and I just want to see you get your butt kicked. I don't know, like, I just don't like Zachary Levi. It's his face, dude. He has a very punchable face.
He does. That's why I love it.
But Asher Angel, definitely, I very much praised his performance as Billy Batson, so I'm excited to see him come back.
Yeah, and I just like to see that the super family is continuing. I'm just like, well, I don't know. He punches a dragon in the trailer. I don't like it. It speaks to me on so many levels.
I heard they cut that.
I'm gonna be sad if they do
I think they cut it because of the line he says, where he's like, "Oh man, I love my life" or something like that, and everyone's making fun of it online, so they think they cut it.
I don't know. We'll see. But all I know is that in the trailer he punched a dragon. So,
I will say I am excited for Shazam. It's not one of those like, oh my god movies for me, but it's something where I'm like, all right, the trailer was fun enough that I have some faith for you.
Love it. Another one that we both agree on is at number 8. I have Creed 3. Creed is just yeah, basically everything you said. I just really love this character. And then especially with this trailer that they released, it really, really awesome trailer.
It gave me chills, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that they wrapped his childhood into his opponent. It was just like that his like, and it's not even just his childhood, but it's like the society versus like what you should do versus like who your actual opponent is. Like you have to face this dude who basically was, because of police brutality, like was taken and like, maybe he shouldn't have been. I don't know. It just was crazy to me that
a wrong choice leads down the wrong paths, but who knows what the actual motivation is, whether it was a wrong choice or it was just like,
exactly
him kind of stolen from his life, and then watching a childhood friend grow up into this kind of like role model figure and being like, well, my life was stolen from me. Why do you deserve this?
Yeah, exactly. For him to have to still justify why he can still stand up and fight this guy. It's just great material.
It's so good. I'm so excited. And those boxing matches are going to be awesome.
100%. Oh yeah. And that's another thing. The way the hits looked was brutal. I was just like, oh, that looked like it hurts.
Yeah, no, dude, especially if you've seen the original Rocky series, all like 6 of them. These fights in Creed are a million times better. Like, they look real. They look brutal. You feel the energy behind those punches, and I love it.
Exactly. It isn't like in Wakanda Forever when they're just flipping over each other.
They're like, oh, look, we slap. This is like a full-on punch. You see the ripples in the skin, and you see the blood and the tears. And I was like, I love it.
Oh, and that was another thing, because you mentioned that Michael B. Jordan's actually directing this film, which I'm pretty sure this is his directorial feature.
I believe so.
And that's exciting for me. Anytime anyone has their first feature film and that we haven't seen before, I love seeing that.
I'm very interested, especially with him having this character for 2 films, and now getting the chance to direct this character. And he's kind of taking it away from where the character was, where it's like Rocky was still like the very much like a focal point. And like, I mean, even in Creed 2, he was fighting a child of Rocky's villain.
Yeah, this is fully his own story now.
It's his own story. He gets to become his own person, and I'm so excited to see where it happens.
Me too. Now this next one is no thanks to Ezra Miller. They they have definitely muted my excitement for this film. But that being said, Michael Keaton's coming back, and I just love the character of the Flash. Obviously, the film I'm talking about is the Flash. I love I love the character of Flash. I have tattoos of the Flash. I have liked Ezra Miller's Flash, like that they've done in the other films. And just, that makes me excited for this film coming out. Just this is the first Flash film that we've ever gotten. I mean, in modern day.
I will say that Ezra Miller's tried his hardest not to let this film come out.
No, 100%. They definitely have had issues.
I have heard though that Warner Brothers has been like, we're still open to him being the Flash.
No.
But it's like, how are you guys going to say that after everything that's gone down? Like, I get like the whole struggle. Like, if the Flash performs really well, it's very hard to be like, we need to recast him.
I will say this. I feel like ultimately, with James Gunn and Peter Safran taking over DC, I think that they are making a whole new slate, and their decision on Ezra Miller, I feel like, has already kind of been made up.
So it's kind of off topic, but we are talking about The Flash, which I am excited for Michael Keaton so much. Like, that's my crowning jewel of this movie. It's just, I love Michael Keaton. I'm so sad. I think they cut his screen time down a little bit and stuff like that due to like Batgirl getting canceled and all this other stuff. But James Gunn becoming the head of DC has given me so much faith in it, because just seeing how he interacts with people on Twitter and stuff, where people are like, oh, you need to do this, and he's like, I'm going to do it my way. Y'all can step off. And I'm just like, I respect you.
Me too. No, 100%. I think other people, like, with Henry Cavill not returning as Superman, people are like, don't like James Gunn because of that. But I'm just like I get it. Like, he wants to carve his own direction in the DC films.
Well, he said he was open about, like, when he took the job, he knew, he was aware that whatever he did was going to get hate.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever choice he made, it was going to be not liked by the majority. He basically was like, we're just prepared to do that, and we're going to do what we got to do because we love these characters and we love what we're doing, and we're going to do the best for them. So you guys can all go away and mind your business.
I love that.
Respect the man.
I'm really just excited to see what they do with the Flash. I know that this is supposed to be like a time travel thing. There's supposed to be like multiple Flashes.
Isn't the villain like Ezra Miller too? Like it's a version of Ezra Miller.
I think so. I don't know. I know it's weird.
I think in the teaser there's 2 Flashes, like 2 Ezra Millers.
And there's like I don't know. I'm just really excited to see what they do with the Flash film. So that's
I will say I do like the Flash character.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for this. Hesitantly excited for it. I really hope that they do it well and it's not just gonna be like, I don't know, man. Ezra Miller really screwed everything up.
Right. No, me too. And that everything they've said too is that like this is a really good film. Like everything that's coming out is that this is a really great film.
Yeah. Even the people that are just like, it sucks, but it is what it is because it's a good movie.
Yeah, this is the guy that directed this film was the guy that directed It and It Too.
I love him.
Andy Muschietti.
He was such a big dude back when It was coming out, and I kind of feel like he's kind of disappeared because of like him taking over the Flash because he took it over right after It Too.
If you think about this, the Flash movie was supposed to come out like 2 years ago.
Yeah. And that's when he took it over.
Because of COVID, and then
right before COVID hit, he took this movie over.
Yeah.
COVID hit, and it kind of ruined his whole timeline. So I feel like we haven't seen Andy, whatever his name is, in a very, very long time.
Right.
Because he's been gone since Chapter 2.
No, you're right. So then the next one I am super excited for was another one that you're excited for is John Wick Chapter 4.
So good.
I don't know. There's not much more to say that we haven't already said already, but great action. Keanu Reeves, just amazing. So I'm super excited to see that one.
I cannot wait. I love it so much.
Me too. I'm just hoping they don't go too much into, like, I hope that there's a good story still behind it, because like that's something that I've seen started declining since the first one.
Declining?
There's only so much you can. I mean, okay, so the first one, no, I wouldn't say declining. I just like by the third one where everybody's attacking him and everybody's attacking him. It's getting to the point where it's like a little silly.
Have you watched them all back to back?
I don't know if I've done that recently.
You probably should because it flows so well.
Okay, maybe I should.
Like you watch the first one ends, and then the second one begins with him going back home.
Right.
And then all this stuff goes out. By the end of the second one, if you jump straight into the third one, it's seamless.
Huh.
And
Okay.
it flows so well, so I love it so much.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch. I'll definitely probably rewatch them for this one because
when you watch one back to back, all it is like you're learning so much about the lore that all I want to do is get a chapter 4 and learn more about the lore. Like I'm just like, how's the table work? Like I still don't know, but like this one seems more like it's gonna delve more into that because you have the third one had the one who's above the table, and I'm like I don't even know how that works. Like so much of the lore in this world is fantastic. I love like all the little shops and that's hidden in like the world, and all these assassins know this underworld kind of thing. And I'm just like, it's so interesting to me and intrigues my like need for lore.
Yeah, no, 100%. I definitely hope to get a little bit more of that lore in here. So, number 5, the film that I thought you, like I said, that you would have on your list was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I wasn't really excited for this film until the trailer came out, and as soon as it did, and I'm just like, wow, that looks amazing.
They know what they're doing.
Okay, I haven't watched like any of I've only watched the first Indiana Jones film, so I need to watch the other ones. But
so before the trailer came out, Jada and I decided we're going to rewatch the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she hadn't seen any of them, so we watched Raiders, and she was like, "Wow, this is so good." I was like, "Yeah." And we watched Temple of Doom, and then she was like, "I don't like Willie," and I was like, "That's fair. Not a lot of people do. Makes sense." We watched it. We watched the Last Crusade, and she was like, "This one's like better than Temple." And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You want to watch Kingdom of Skull?" And I was like, "No."
That's the one with Shia LaBeouf, right?
That's the one with Shia LaBeouf, and I have no interest, and I know I'm gonna need to. That's the problem. Is I know I'm gonna have to watch it before this one comes out, but I don't want to. So I'm just postponing it. I think for like 6 months now.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up on all those films before I see this one because I've only seen the first one, which I forgot the name of it, but
Raiders. Yeah,
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, exactly. I've seen that one, which is really great. I love it. But just honestly, I just love seeing these old. I love seeing Harrison Ford come back, especially at an older age to do this.
Oh, he's such a good actor, and I think he's doing a better job now that he's older than he was when he was younger, because I feel like he's just kind of mellowed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. And then I think the action in this one looks really good too.
Oh, it looks so good. And then like the drama behind the scenes where he was like getting injured and doing all this, like because he's doing his own stunts. And I was like, I respect this man so much.
Me too. And I just really think that something about this one just feels like a return to form for Indiana Jones in general.
It feels like such a good. Okay, so when you think of legacy films, normally things come to mind like Jurassic World, where like they normally get terrible, but this feels like they're giving a lot of respect to Indiana Jones as a character, trying to give him a good send off.
I agree.
Because even I want to say it's Kathleen Kennedy, but I don't know.
Lucasfilm, yeah, that's right.
Is Kathleen Kennedy Lucasfilm?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
Okay. she's basically like was like, yeah, we're not gonna recast Harrison Ford. Like after this, it's done.
Yeah, I don't really see why you would, honestly.
But then they're also working on a Young Indiana Jones movie, so I don't, or not movie show, so I don't know. It's all weird. It's a murky situation with Lucasfilms.
Yeah, honestly, I heard that she's on her way out. I heard that as soon as this film Indiana Jones comes out, she's basically going to be gone.
The problem is, I don't even think like she's the biggest problem in there. I think she's just the easiest person to target.
Well, no, I don't think so. I think she's the main. Well, I mean, we can get into this.
We can talk about that later.
But
I just kind of look at what she's done, and I'm like, well, she's done a lot of good things.
No, she has done a lot of good things. I just feel like the majority, the way that Star Wars is right now and Lucasfilm is because she hasn't really managed it that well.
Those are big properties to try to manage.
I know, but like you should at least have a plan before you do a new trilogy of Star Wars films, right?
That makes too much sense, Mytchel. It's Star Wars.
You're right. Okay. But what does make sense is Dune Part 2. Again with my boy Timothée Chalamet. Okay, let's be honest. I have no idea why this is on my list.
I don't know why either.
I don't know. I'm telling you because I at first Dune, like, I watched it and I was like, it's okay. But the more I thought about Dune, I'm just like, the more I like it. It just sits with me. It just gets better and better. And I'm just thinking about Timothée Chalamet, and it might be just because I like that dude. But like just knowing where this, I don't know where the story goes, but like I've just seen a little bit of things about where this story goes and how basically the second part of this film is just like pure action, and I'm super excited for this.
I thought the first one was mundane and boring.
I know, me too.
I will say, when I watched the first one, I just almost swallowed my microphone. I don't know if you saw that, but like, okay, so. But when I watched the first one, I got out of the theater and I was like, I did not like that. It was very boring. But I knew that part 2 could save the first movie. I think I told you and I think I told Jade, I was like, I need the full story before I can accurately judge whether the first movie is good or not to me. Because I feel like it just left me so wanting.
I agree, and I think I'm getting more excited for this film because if the second part is really good, it's gonna make me love this entire franchise.
Well, it's like Zendaya was so heavily marketed in part 1, and then she's barely in it.
Oh, that's another reason Zendaya. Like you get to see more of her too. Hopefully,
it just felt disappointing to me. So like, I'm surprised this is on your list because I was like, this wasn't even close, dude. Like this wasn't even a consideration. I was like, nah. I'm gonna watch it just because I know it's gonna be one of those event films. Everyone's going to be like, Dune Part 2. And I'm just going to be like, okay, I'll go watch it because everyone else thinks it's going to be good, but
because you haven't seen the original Dune, right?
I own it. I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it simply because I didn't like the first one.
Okay, I just was asking because my dad and I feel like people I've talked to have seen that original Dune and even like read the books. And apparently, like that original Dune movie actually is the second part of this newer one series.
I know the first one was directed by David Lynch.
Yeah, and that one it like specifically covers like what they're going to cover in part 2. And I heard that it's like super like bonkers crazy with what they go into.
I will go into this nervous but willing to be wowed.
Yeah, that's how I feel. But I'm just like being more optimistic about it, just because I'm just like Timothée Chalamet, and with what they could do, I'm just like, okay, this could be really cool.
This is why we're friends, because you're the optimist, and I'm the one that goes in going, this is gonna suck.
Now speaking of things that you think are gonna suck, Transformers, The Rise of the Beasts.
Hey, gorilla movie.
Gorilla, let's go. I did lose faith in the Transformers franchise until I saw Bumblebee, like we talked a little bit earlier. And then, especially when I heard that they threw out Michael Bay and they gathered a team of writers to write the next series of Transformers films, which was about 5 years ago at this point that they did that. And I think just because of COVID and issues that they had pertaining to that, this film finally got made and is ready to be put out. And I'm super excited to see what they do with Transformers. Just because it's entirely new writing team, it's entirely new directing. It's all should hopefully be something great.
I'm nervous, but the gorilla is very exciting. Transformers is just one of those franchises. I remember being a kid and watching like Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen back to back. I think I fell asleep during Revenge of the Fallen in the first 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna blame you. Those movies aren't good. The rest of the Transformers movies, like after the first one, aren't that great.
So I have a funny story about Age of Extinction though.
Okay.
I have a friend who, growing up, was obsessed with dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Loved them. So when Age of Extinction came out, he was like, "We need to go see it," and I was like, "It's Transformers." And so we went and saw that in theaters. And I remember him just being like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," and I was over here like,
"Oh my god,
I
no,
don't like this. Like, this is awful." And I can't remember, is Shia LaBeouf in there or is that Mark Wahlberg?
No, I think Shark
No.
Wahlberg. Shia LaBeouf's only in the first one.
No, he's in the
he's in the second one. Trilogy? I don't know. I know in the first one he was pretty good.
He was decent. Shia LaBeouf, weird.
No, Mark Wahlberg was 100% in the Extinction. I know that.
Was he? Because I remember, like, I just did not like him in it either. And I was just like, I don't like this. This is not a good series. And so I never watched another one.
Yeah, after they did, well, I think that's the most recent one, isn't it?
No. You had The Last Night, and you had...
Oh, yeah. God. There's so many of them.
God. Yeah, he was... Yeah, Age of Extinction was Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I know.
He was in the Last Night, which I think was the last one.
That sounds right.
No. Yes. Dark of the Moon. I was trying to figure out what Dark of the Moon was. That's the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So Last Night was the last one, and I watched it, and I gave it a solid 1 star. So that was my last Transformers film I watched, and I still haven't checked Bumblebee because I was like, you can't save this. Like,
you also got pterodactyls too. I mean, just dinosaur. We got more dinosaurs in this one.
You know what? So. I'm weird. I might watch Bumblebee tonight.
Bumblebee's a good film. Like, I think you're gonna have a good time.
This year is the year of Bryce watching movies that he should have watched, and so Bumblebee is on my list, and it's gotten a lot of decent ratings. And a lot of people I follow like it, so I will check it out tonight. I will try to check it out tonight.
Now, these next 2 films are, yes, Marvel films. Oh, I mean,
Haley Steinfeld's in Bumblebee? Gwen
I think so, yeah.
Boy, why would you tell me that?
I forgot.
You know how much, dude.
Oh yeah, she's the main hero, I think.
She's a Hawkeye.
Yeah, she's a Hawkeye, exactly.
Why would you, man, you think okay, never mind. Red flag. John Cena's in it.
He's actually barely in it, but he's actually pretty good in it.
I have to force myself. I got this. I'll be all right.
Okay.
It'll be okay. I'll get through it.
Now, the number 2. At number 2, I have a film that is near and dear to my heart. I mean, just because it's Marvel and because it's one of my favorite Marvel properties, which is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Get prepared to cry.
I know.
Just the trailer. Dude,
I cried. I almost cried the trailer, bro. What the heck? God. Poor Rocket.
You know, we're probably like, this isn't spoiling anything. Obviously, we don't know. I think this is going to be the end of the team.
100%. They told us that, yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of sadness and a lot of death, and I hope it ends on a high note, but I'm not expecting it to. And
I don't know if this is okay. I don't know if we're going to see people die as much as other people anticipate. I don't know why. I just don't expect.
If I had to guess right now, Drax is going to eat the dust. David Bautista has already said he's done with the character, so I can see him dying. Rocket's probably going to die, and I think Groot's probably safe. He's already died. So, but I think the other one's like, I don't know. Like, how do you end a character? Like, think about if Iron Man was just retired.
I can see Nebula dying, but well, see that's the thing.
The characters.
I think
are still
ultimately,
in the world.
what is the Guardian? To me, what is the Guardians of the Galaxy? The Guardians of the Galaxy is whoever Peter Quill is commanding. That to me is what the Guardians of the Galaxy is. So I mean, to me, you can go off and do another Guardians of the Galaxy film as long as Chris Pratt, or honestly, not even Chris Pratt, as long as there's a Peter Quill doing it.
It just feels like the end of an era.
It does, yeah. Kind of like how Clerks 3 felt in a sense.
Almost, yes, but it's one of those things where how do you talk about this without being like, like Endgame, where you see a character you've grown attached to for years and then you're saying goodbye to them? It's just emotional. Like, even before Endgame, we knew we were going to say goodbye to some characters, and it was so sad.
It almost reminds me of Logan.
You grow attached.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the Guardians have only been around since 2014, but it still feels like you're losing a bit of
losing a piece of Marvel. Yeah, you're losing a piece of this franchise, this overall connected cinematic universe that really is like, I want to say 1/3 of it.
It's amazing how much they've done with Guardians.
Really, because we had everything focused on Earth until they showed up, and then after that is when you just started introducing the cosmic stuff.
Blew up.
Yeah. Without them, it's just like, what is Marvel? No, I'm just kidding.
I feel like we need like some sad, somber music just playing in the background. Just
if you think about it, we have no Captain America yet. I mean, obviously we have Captain America coming.
No, we have Wilson.
No, I know, but I'm saying like, your pillars of like what you set your MCU up was like,
you had
crumbling.
Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. The core Avengers are basically all gone.
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
have the little side things that came up like Ant-Man and
Scarlet
Guardians, Witch, and then those are starting to disappear too. It's kind of just like it's a new era, and it's sad. It's sad for the old fans.
Exactly, but no, I'm still super excited to see this one. And then obviously at number 1, my most anticipated film of 2023 is Across the Spider-Verse.
I can't wait for this to make so much money.
Me too. Miles Morales has taken my heart to storm. I got a No Expectations tattoo. I'm eventually going to get more of a Miles tattoo. I love this character, and I love just the entire world that they set up. I actually just watched the first one just the other day again. And actually, I think I watched it as my last film of 2022.
It was indeed your last film of 2022.
And oh my god, the imagery in this film and how they use animation is just so peak like animation. I love it.
Ditko dots, which, funny enough, speaking of this animation, inspired Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that they're making a sequel to a movie that changed the animation game, it has a reason to be so anticipated.
And you know why? I know that they've taken all the care into this as much as they've taken onto as the first one, and I'll tell you why. In the trailer, there is a scene where they play a large part of the trailer is just them replaying old stuff. But then they played a part where he swings to New York and grabs a hot dog from a guy, and then he pays him money, and then like in the few frames, if you just do it by frame, like there's a part where it says like take, and he there's a word text bubble that says take when he takes the hot dog, and it's just absolutely like hilarious. And I just know that if they can spend that much focus on just that frame, and you can pause it and you can use that as a screensaver, they're gonna do that on the entire film.
Fantastic. And then there was the fact that they postponed it, which usually is a disappointing thing to see happen.
Yeah.
But when they postponed this movie from last year, I was like, you know what? I believe in that, because they're trying to make the best film they can, and they know how much anticipation people have. So you know what? Take your time. I'm good with waiting as long as we get some great quality and you guys put your effort into it, which, as you say, they are.
Right. Actually, now that you mentioned that, I forgot. We were supposed to see this already. This is the second one that's supposed to come out this year too.
It was supposed to come out the same day as League of Super Pets did.
Well, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just glad that we're finally getting this film, and that it that they took the time that they needed to make it. So I cannot wait to see this film.
I'm gonna do a prediction now. It's gonna win Best Animated Picture at next year's Oscars.
I can also,
or at least a nomination, for sure, a nomination.
I think this might be my favorite film of the year, but I don't know yet.
If it wins Best Animated Picture, it'll be like the second movie in history to win a Best Picture award. That's a sequel.
Wow.
Because the only other one was Godfather Part 2.
Well, you guys need to let us know what your top 10 of 2023 are. All right, what are you anticipated for? What are you excited about? What are you not excited about? You can let us know that too.
We're very curious, because we know there's a ton coming out.
There is a lot. There's a ton I didn't even mention that I am excited for that I just couldn't get to.
It's like I think in January alone, I'm seeing like 15 movies.
I know.
Like that's January.
Like
January is the slow month.
I'm really excited for Blue Beetle too. That it sounds really cool to me.
There's just so much. There's so much coming out this year. It's going to be amazing.
Well, I am super excited to hear from you guys. And if you want to follow us on the interwebs or talk to us outside of our podcast, you can find us anywhere at Into the Filmverse podcast or Into the Filmverse. And then you can find me, Mytchel Chandler, at Mitch Reviews on Letterboxd, and Mytchel Chandler pretty much everywhere else.
You can find me on Letterboxd at Payne Reviews. I think I got the right Payne Reviews. I'll get this down again. We're still coming back. And then Twitter at Sanguine Films. And Instagram at Payne Love Cinema.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys' time, and thank you for spending it with us. And until next time, Excelsior!